Hello everyone, my name is AndrewAJT, and we are back with a new video, the worst grind ever in OSRS. Now I will let you know right off the bat that even though this will be a video talking about gameplay at points, it's going to be mostly a vlog. There's a lot of stuff which I want to talk about which I haven't really gotten around to recently. For example, I want to give an update on my wrist surgery, and there's a few other topics I really wanted to talk about. I kind of feel like it's important every once in a while to kind of take stock of where we've been, where we're going, and where we're at right now. I will say before we talk about the Mage Training Arena is that thank you guys so much for 17,000 subscribers. I feel like I'm saying thank you for a new sub milestone every other video or something. We're just kind of crushing it every month here. And thank you so much as well to our video sponsor from Patreon, Bob White. The Patreon page has been growing slowly but surely, which is really awesome to see. But yes, where the hell am I? So I'm in the Mage Training Arena right now in this video, and I'm doing enchanting. The reason I'm doing this is for one reason, to unlock the Bones to Peaches spell. This is also the place where you can buy infinity robes, which are not that good other than the boots. The rest of the infinity robes are actually pretty terrible. You can get a master wand from here, which I guess means the rewards are technically decent. However, you'd be better off buying them yourself from another player if you're a main account. But you do need the Bones to Peaches spell to complete the Lumbridge and Draynor diaries, so if you want to have the diaries done, and I've talked about how important diaries are recently, you have to spend some time in this place. I've talked about this minigame in the past where I actually think it's decent on paper because you're using non-combat spells to earn points with magic, and magic does need more non-combat related activities. Unfortunately, just with this minigame and many things in OSRS, it just kind of turns into a repetitive grind because you're basically doing the same thing over and over. I'm sure this would be a perfect minigame for the community and Jagex to kind of overhaul. I bet if people actually thought of really good ideas for fixing these minigames and just adding more variety and maybe even adding a competitive aspect to it, this minigame could actually probably be turned into something pretty fun, but in the meantime, it's just something you have to get over with. One thing I will say though is that these minigames are made really easy by Runelight, which has a plugin for the Mage Training Arena, I believe, and it basically tells you what to do for some of these things. For example, here, it tells you where to stand to cast the telekinetic grab, so the whole point of this minigame, which is that you have to figure out how to get this guardian through the maze, is basically turned into a mindless click fest because you don't have to actually use your brain, you're just clicking where the screen is telling you to click. This is a great example of how I think third-party clients are kind of taking over to some extent. It's almost going to feel like a disadvantage if you're not using one. And I'm not just trying to pick on Runelight, there's a lot of clients that offer similar types of features, and there's also some really concerning fringe clients people have been posting videos of, for example, where they switch your prayers for you automatically when PKing. Runelight and those type of clients don't do anything like that unless you maybe modify them to do that. But people do use things like that, and that's really concerning. Obviously, those types of things are not allowed, whereas this seems to be fine. But I do wonder how many people are using things like that and maybe getting away with it, or maybe not. We don't really know. So yes, I do want to give an update on my wrist surgery, which I had on June 26th, and it's currently September 1st, so it's been a while now. And I've posted some updates on social media and stuff, but not all you guys follow me on there, so I did want to put one on YouTube as well. I'll give the same disclaimer, though, that I always give, that this is not medical advice. I'm certainly not a doctor, and I'm just telling you about my particular situation. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I had right wrist surgery back in late June to correct an issue I've had a long time, hopefully, which is pain in a very small tendon in your wrist, the FCR tendon. And this is actually kind of an uncommon surgery, but the idea is it just kind of opens up the tendon and gives it a little more space and hopefully corrects the issues and pain I've had in it for a few years now. So I'm about 10 weeks in now, and up until a couple weeks ago, the pain level was actually higher than it was pre-surgery still, which was kind of disappointing because, you know, I hoped it would be a little quicker than that. But I saw the doctor again, and he said, okay, we're going to stop doing physical therapy for now with you, or actually I was doing it at home, and he just wanted me to rest it for around 6 weeks until I see him again in late September. And that's what I've been doing, and it seems to be working. I can understand that it's taking a long time. I mean, for example, I'm a huge Mets fan. I don't know if any of you guys like baseball, but some of these guys get injuries and they need surgeries and they're out for an entire year. The Mets have really bad luck with it, but other teams do as well. Since then, it does seem to be feeling a little bit better every week, and I'm not really doing anything with it, so it's hard to really know how much better it is. But before recently, it was hurting a decent amount even when I was not using it. It does still hurt when I'm not using it, but it's not too bad. It's just a little bit sore. Today, it's actually bothering me a decent amount, but I suspect that's because of the rain and humidity we have here in New York. Hopefully by the end of September, there's going to be even more improvement, and I can start to use it a little bit, and then kind of work my way up from there, and hopefully just be able to get to near 100%. I will say that it is a different type of pain I experience nowadays. It's more of like a soreness, tenderness type of feeling, whereas before the surgery and before the tendon was kind of released, I guess, the feeling was more of kind of compression or it being squeezed. So my hope is that if these new symptoms can heal up, then I'll be pretty much good to go. As many of you guys know, I do play RuneScape sometimes with my left hand, but if I have to rely on that a lot, such as times like recently, that can start to bother me as well, so I've had to not play a ton of RuneScape the last week or so. It does really suck to be in your 20s and have wrist problems, but you can't always script how life is going to go. Sometimes you're going to have a bit of a setback, and I'm just trying to stay really positive all through it. So one thing that was on my mind recently is how many people in the OSRS community pretty much only play 07 as their main game. Like maybe they do more than 80% of their gaming on OldSchool, for example. And I did a poll about this, and about 55% of people said, yeah, that's pretty much the only game that I play with much regularity. It was kind of hard to word this poll because it's going to be a different answer for everyone, obviously. Some people may be used to play a bunch of other games, and maybe they only recently started playing OSRS, so it's really hard to get a good answer onto this question, but I think it shows us that at least a good chunk of the community pretty much only plays 07 as their main game. It's tough for me to answer this question. I guess technically I would say yes, it's the main game that I play, but I do like other games a lot, but because of the wrist situation, obviously I'm limited right now as to what I can play. Up until a few years ago, Super Smash Bros. Melee was my main game. I used to go out to tournaments for that on many weekends and play some net play. And I've also done speedruns of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Those are really special games to me. And of course, RuneScape is in that mix for me. I've played pretty much regularly since 2005. Other than when EOC came out, I didn't really play until OSRS came out in 2013. But even when I was doing lots of gaming, I really wouldn't deviate from those games mostly. Some people really like to play all the new games, every single new release, every single Call of Duty or, expansion or DLC. They want to play that. Whereas with me, I just kind of play the same games over and over again. It's kind of silly if you think about it. And I have a theory about this, or maybe just a hypothesis, that the people who are attracted to OSRS are the people who just really like to get a lot out of a game, or really almost become obsessed with that game for a certain period of time. Not literally, but you get the idea that they want to get their skills up high, and they want to put a lot of time into a game before they move on. But another possibility is that people who play OSRS for the first time don't have any intentions of wanting to spend that much time on it, but because of the nature of the game and how much grinding and time is involved with achieving things in this game, they just kind of get sucked into it and are in like a never-ending cycle where they always have something to do in the game. But as long as they're enjoying it, I guess it's not really a problem. I don't know where I'm going with this, but let me know your opinions on it. I just found it interesting that so many people play OSRS so exclusively. So we finished all the 4 activities, and now we can buy our Bones to Peaches spell. This shop always looks really cool to me. I wish other shops looked this awesome. But anyway, we bought the spell, and you just get a little message down there in the chat box, and you can't see it now, but we can now use the spell. Of course, normally you can use tabs for the spell, but you can't do that for the diary, so the peach has been successfully created and eaten, and now we just need to finish up the other tasks of the Lumbridge diary. Thankfully, I had somehow remembered to plant this belladonna maybe years ago, because I do not remember planting that, but if I didn't, I would have had to wait another day to finish the diary. And then we just had some smithing left to do with the boost here. Make that Addy plate body with the Dwarven Stout mature. Just one more thing left to do, but look at this, I actually found the Mage Training Arena. It just exists in the sky, I guess, under Lumbridge. Make these water runes here, and there we go, there is the Elite Diary completely done. I also had to ride the train to Keldegrim for the hard diary. It's really unique because you just kind of go on this train here and you wait for it to leave. Normally in RuneScape you click on something to leave or you teleport, There's no other mechanic that really works like that. It's just kind of unique. So the great thing about completing this diary is that you get the fairy rings without the lunar or Drayman staff, which is really convenient because it saves you an inventory space, and it's just nice to have for clue scrolls and stuff. That's in addition to the upgraded Explorer's Ring, which has more run restoration and alchemy, and you also get the usual big XP lamps. This was really worth doing. The Mage Training Arena does suck, but it only took around 5 hours, and I'm just really glad to have this done. Make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. It's a great way to support the channel. Also, please subscribe if you want to see my future videos, which I upload every Tuesday. And I also really recommend you hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever I do upload. You can join our clan chat in-game, AndrewAJT62, that'll be up on screen. You can join our clan Discord down below, even if you don't want to join the clan chat. Check out my Twitter account down below at AndrewAJT, and I'll follow you back if you play RS. If you want to support the channel even further, you can check out my Patreon page in the end screen. Thanks again to our new patron, Bob White. That's really, really awesome and appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.